Okay, it is finally time to review Eye of the Chickenhawk by Simon Dovey. I think I'm saying the name right. I'll hold it up there, so those of you want to do a screenshot of that, there you go, you got it. This one is available on Amazon as of this recording. That's where I found it. This is from 2023. Excellent book, very dark material, this is definitely one of those books that when I was reading, you see all my little dog ears throughout. I like to skip around and revisit some other books like, something less dark when I'm doing that, like brush up on some Tavistock Institute knowledge. But in all seriousness, this is an excellent book, but it is a very dark subject. This is all about child. I'm trying to use my language very carefully so I don't get censored too much. There is some. Basically, this is all about pedo rings and pedo snuff rings and the production of underage pornographic material. So, and the rings, the organized rings of people who produce said things. This is a great investigative journey through that world and connecting the dots, as the cover points out, between a lot of these different groups and pointing out some of the main players in all of this. Excellent information. And this is definitely a good book to have, a good companion book to the Franklin Scandal or the Franklin Cover-Up. Either of those books, and I'll link to those on the end screen. Just know that this is very dark reading. Now, thankfully, the author does this in a way that is very tasteful. Sometimes true crime books will get into explicit details that you're like, I don't need to know that. I'm looking to figure out the corruption aspect. I really don't want to know specifics of what was done. That's to me, that makes me wonder about someone's general mental makeup when they want that kind of detail in true crime. It's like, man, let's stick with the criminal perpetrators of this and try to figure out how to stop it. So excellent book, very tastefully written given the subject matter, because again, it's really tough to get into this stuff and explain it and describe the rings and the networks and all, and do so in a way that is respectful to the victims of this and their families, and but still informative to where you can use this to kind of help unravel some of the crazy that's happening out there. One thing that stuck with me, I mean, there's a lot in this that will definitely, he goes through over a period of decades and documents a lot of these cases, and does more thorough investigation on some of these cases, like the Dean Coral case down in Houston, than I've seen in any other book like this. And even says in the introduction that I'm doing an investigation that needs to be done, and a lot of people aren't going to take this seriously, but it needs to be out there. And I forget how he words it exactly, but basically saying that, look, I'm not a professional investigator, but this is the only way this subject is going to be covered because the professionals won't touch this. So, and I think that is right on the nose, unfortunately, is a lot of the people who have careers in journalism won't touch some of these topics because that will end their careers and they know it. I've had some of those moments where with people in law enforcement and people in a capacity to look into this stuff, and when you bring up some of these things, you can see that little self-preservation mechanism kick in where they know that everything you're talking about is a job-killing thing, so they're not going to cross that line. So anyway, excellent book. If you are into investigating blackmail rings like the Whitney Webb book, Whitney Webb books actually, on blackmail and the Epstein case and all, this is an excellent companion to all of that material. And so many names and dates, places, locations, chock full of really good, solid information. Very well documented. I would say probably a good, almost a third of the book is all the sources. But one of the names that jumped out at me that I was going to say earlier is Harry Connick Sr. is mentioned in this as a DA down in New Orleans, being kind of adjacent to some of this activity. And I won't go into too many details about that because that's the kind of thing could probably get this dinged. So also, if you are an investigator of things like pasta fence, also very important information. And pasta fence, I'm sure someone will explain in the comments if you're unfamiliar with that euphemism. I can't even say that on the YouTubes or I'll get my video taken down. So fun stuff there. So I will stop there, but that is Eye of the Chickenhawk from 2023 by Simon Dovey. Excellent, excellent research, excellent book, excellent companion piece to the Franklin material. Good information on the finders here as well. If you're into any kind of parapolitical research, especially blackmail rings and that sort of thing, this is really good information. And if you believe that the whole idea of snuff pornography is an urban legend, this will change your perspective on that radically. So there you go. Eye of the Chickenhawk.